Hello, everyone. I hope you're doing well and welcome back to Spar&Brawl. So, as everybody knows, the EU and the UK finally signed a trade deal, and we have Sam here with us, as per usual, my co host, to give us a first overview breakdown of the deal. So, Sam, the floor is yours.
Oh, well, hi everyone. Yeah, it was a last minute deal. It was not as many have put it unlikely. I think most most academic and analysts who are, not journalists to be honest, they've been saying that it would have definitely have happened anyway. But it ended up happening in the last minute, largely, I think, because of political reasons, because it was in the benefit of Johnson administration to, come out to make a binary choice between a deal and no deal, rather than what kind of a deal, which was the question. But yeah, finally they made the deal, and the deal is the biggest uh, for both nations I think they've ever made. If I'm not mistaken, it's the biggest deal in terms of value for both, not nations, for EU and the UK. And now we can go into it, shall we? Shall we go through different topics?
Yes, please. Exactly.
Sure. Well, let's start with the big one, which is tariff and trades. There will be no tariffs and there will be zero quotas. So, in short, there won't be tariffs and quotas. However, there will be major overhauls of bureaucracy and expansion of bureaucracy on both sides to make sure that standards and regulations are followed according to the deal. But as I again mentioned, there will be no tariffs and no quotas, so goods largely can move across the nations, across UK and EU, without any hindrance. That's the that was probably the biggest issue
Yeah, that's
economically.
like a big one, right? That's huge.
That's the biggest, yeah, to be honest. That's the biggest in terms of economy. That's the biggest issue. Maybe not in terms of, uh, personal lives of people and stuff, but they'll get into that. But this is big,
Yeah.
and it's important to point out that this deal is far more reaching than the deal the EU has with Canada or Japan.
Mm-hmm.
So in many ways, I mean, we get to at the end we get to the like who won, so to speak.
Yeah.
But at least this is a positive point for the UK. They managed to get a bigger deal than the Canada had, which was at a lot of times referred to as a potential option for the UK. So that's that. Then we come to the fact that there won't be an automatic recognition of professional people, professional qualifications anymore. For example, architects, lawyers, and doctors. There won't be like the British qualification won't be automatically recognized in the EU and vice versa. So if you're a professional wanting to work somewhere else, you need to get a specific certification and qualification in that country or in that area. Freedom of movement is somewhat hindered. There is still a 90-day, during a course of 12 months, British citizens or EU citizens can go to each other's country for 90 days. But if they want to stay there to start a business or to work, they need to get a work permit or a specific visa, or let's say a study visa if they want to study. So that's a significant change for the people of UK and for the people of the EU. And
Yeah.
one of the
It wasn't.
thing,
Oh, sorry.
no, no,
I was just
no,
gonna
no,
add, it wasn't highlighted. Maybe if it's for a year, I know that in the case of Canadians and Americans, it's 90 days out of 6 months. So you
oh
can
wow,
technically, yes, but you can't stay 6 months straight. Then you have to leave for 3 months and come back. So maybe it will be like that for British citizens.
I read 12 months so far,
Okay, I see.
but
Interesting.
within a 12-month, but we'll see. But for example, Erasmus has been getting a lot of attention in the media. Erasmus is a system that allows European students to exchange for a year, to go to a different university for a year and uh, study abroad, basically. And UK is excluded from that. There will be apparently replacement program that UK government is gonna set up, but yeah, they are excluded from Erasmus, that's been getting a lot of attention. But another one that's been getting a lot of attention, but probably is not that big of a deal, is the fisheries issues, which again, it seems that the fishing industry feels somewhat betrayed. They say that apparently, this is what Boris Johnson said, so there's not, it's not the greatest source of information, but apparently EU wanted 14 years to adjust. Like for 14 years there will be a phasing out period of EU's access to British waters. UK wanted 3-year period. Apparently they ended up with 5 year and a half. During this 5 year and a half, EU will reduce its share of British fish by 25% and will return another, I believe, 25% in terms of value to the UK of the fishes that they have caught in British waters. So in some ways they are still, they've reduced their share, but it hasn't been completely cut off. Let me read this to you. This is from this is a quote by the, I believe, head of the fishing union. I believe I'll check it. He said that this deal will inevitably be seen by the fishing industry as a defeat, but he also added that the government had been successful in having fought off EU's attempt to tie the UK back into the common fisheries policies like arrangement. So at least it seems to be a somewhat, it's been viewed somewhat as a defeat in terms of short term, but in long term, because then they're gonna, after the 5.5 year period, then they're gonna negotiate on a yearly basis. So in those terms, it could be, perhaps in future negotiations, UK can retain more of its, more of the share of the fish that is within its waters, and situation will change. But for now, EU has lost very little. Like, it's not a significant loss for the EU. This was seen basically as UK giving EU a bit of a, advantage here, sort of. On the state aid and state aid and standards or level playing field, it seems UK got the advantage there. They managed to successfully. There's going to be a UK body that's going to decide on estate subsidies. So it's not going to be they don't have to necessarily follow EU standards. However, if EU or UK feel like that either party has diverged too much from the common standards that is set in the deal, then they can basically take the case to an independent body that will be set up apparently after the deal. So UK basically here got the advantage, and they managed to get an independent body that's gonna decide on estate subsidies internally for the UK. But if EU has objections or vice versa, then they go to an independent body for that. Same with the standards and level playing field. Basically, if they feel either party feels the other party has diverged too much from standards and all that, then they can take each other to a court or to an independent body.
That's interesting. And so state aid in this sense is the money that's allocated internally, right? It's not talking about foreign policy and all that.
No, it's about estate subsidies towards key industries, for example, transportation or energy, that type of thing. So I mean, UK is never gonna probably match European estates in terms of estate aid, so this was a bit of a non-issue in a way. But if UK wants to now, it can take advantage of it.
And that court aspect is interesting. I think it's a bit different, but it kind of reminds me in NAFTA and in TPP, you'd hear they also had this. It's a court where the corporation could bring, or one of the countries could bring the corporations from the other country to court, and they had their own judges and everything. I don't know if this one is going to be similar, but
No. Let me give you. I was getting into that actually. For dispute resolution, which apparently Angela Merkel had said the disagreement over an arbitration mechanism was the biggest obstacle to the deal. So what they've come to, because Europeans were worried that UK is going to try to basically become the Singapore on Thames, as some would have said it, like reduce regulations significantly to attract all businesses there, right? But that's the agreement they came up with. If either party feels trade is being distorted, it can take measure after consultation. An arbitration panel would meet within 30 days and adjudicate if the measures were later seen to have been deemed excessive or erroneous. Oh my God, so many legal words. What the party that's been what do you say, the party not at fault would be able to take compensatory measures, basically retaliatory measures. For example, if UK announces a new tariff on something that EU feels like breaks the deal, then there will be a panel. Whatever, if that panel decides that EU is right, then they can take retaliatory measure. They ask for UK to obviously get rid of that law, but if they don't, then obviously they can take retaliatory measures. So that's going to be the mechanism. There are no explanation about the number of people on the arbitration, who will appoint the judges, none of that.
Okay. Interesting. So, do you want to get into a little bit about the reactions now?
Oh, no, let me give you some more details.
Yeah.
On security and law enforcement, there is still going to be major agreements in terms of security and law enforcement and major information sharing. However, UK will no longer be part of Interpol or, not Interpol, Europol or Eurojust, which are two security and law enforcement organizations of the EU. In terms of media and television, UK lost big there because France basically successfully kept the audiovisual sector out of the deal, which means that if, for example, a British company, let's say BBC, wants to offer services or something, although BBC is a publicly funded company, so that's a Sky, let's say Sky, they need to have an office in Europe. They can't be based in the deal does not cover them, so there is no there's no tariffs and no quotas for them. They have to go into the UK. In terms of traveling into the UK, EU for work or vice versa, people who are basically on projects and stuff, they are even able to stay up to 3 years, I believe. People who are trainees, they can stay up for a year, which is okay, makes intercompany movements much easier. That's another good part of the deal. And I think, that's about it in terms of details I've so far been able. Let me add that the deal is a massive, I believe it's about 2,000 pages plus 800 pages of annexation. So it's a massive deal with a lot of details and a lot of, a lot of points. So maybe there will be an update on that, but these are some of the details so far I could find from my sources online and all that.
Yeah, and I think one industry that you didn't mention though is the financial sector, right? And apparently the finance sector is not part of the deal.
There's going to be
that's huge and surprising. Deal. Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, there's going to be a whole other negotiation deal on that. Well, in a way, it's huge, but not perhaps surprising, because.
Yeah, because I saw in this political article that it says that more than 40% of the UK's export to the EU are services, and by services referring to the financial sector, and the sector accounts for around 80% of the UK's economic activity.
Yeah, I believe they have a 800 billion surplus in their services trade with the EU,
Wow.
and it's mainly financial services. To be honest, there is architecture, law, that type of media, that type of thing, some media stuff. But yeah, it's a massive deal for the UK and for Germany, I believe, especially. So yeah, that's going to be a whole different deal. That's probably going to be more important than this one in some ways,
Yeah,
but
that's crazy.
less focused on.
Okay, but before we get into the responses, the part of the trade deal, right? And so put on your like leftist progressive hat, okay? And if you think about businesses, like small to medium-sized businesses in the UK and EU and big corporations on both sides, it should hopefully, I don't know, like benefit all of them equally, unless like one industry becomes way bigger and starts perhaps crushing like UK businesses or something.
I don't think it will particularly like internal domestic politics and domestic policies of government are far more influential in
Mm.
terms of a small and large businesses. This deal is more, I don't know. I don't think it will affect in terms of a small or large. I would say large businesses will obviously do better because because of economies of scale, they have more finance and they have more assets and they have blah blah. So they have more space to maneuver and adjust compared to a small
Yeah.
business that has to overhaul some of its aspects. But I don't think it will. Yeah, it seems to be a good deal though. In general, for businesses, it seems to be an okay deal. It doesn't seem to hinder businesses much. In terms of labor, well, considering that it would, at least in the UK, I recall there was the low-paid jobs were done by many EU nationals from poorer nations. So I would imagine that would become less. But on the other hand, the businesses might change their location to poorer nations.
Hmm.
So who knows? Who knows?
Yeah. Very true. Okay, so let's segue right into the responses, and especially like domestically, what have been some of the responses to this trade deal or to this deal? It's much more than trade. Sorry, the Brexit
No, no.
deal.
To be honest, I haven't been able to fully look at the European and international responses, but I've been looking at UK responses. Interestingly, Keir Starmer, the leader of the Labour Party, the opposition party in the UK, came out and said that this is a thin deal, but we will vote for it. I think they realized. I mean, we'll get into it, but yeah, he said it's not a deal we are happy with, but and doesn't completely. I mean, he said it before the deal pretty much was completely out, so I don't know if he actually had the time to read it. So he said it doesn't protect the workers, usual cliche lines, but he did say they will vote for it. There are rumors of a front bench. Front bench means the people who are in the shadow cabinet, the top MPs. There's rumors of a front bench revolt. There are hard remainers that say they should vote against it. There are people who say that this is a bad deal and we should not associate ourselves with it because it will have negative economic consequences, so we should abstain. Not that we are for Brexit, but we should abstain on this deal. But he seems to be set on voting for it. So that's that. Then you had Lib Dems who are definitely going to vote against it. Lib Dems are, to be honest, largely irrelevant now. I don't know why I even mentioned them. But yeah, that was their response.
Who are the
Hard
lib? Sorry,
left
who are the Lib Dems? Who are the Lib Dems?
Liberal Democrats. They. I don't know if they still are, but they were the third largest political party in the UK, and they are very centrist, very very pro-European.
Okay.
Nick Clegg, I don't know if you recall, he was deputy prime minister when first term of Cameron.
So there are the
Um,
Tories, the Conservatives. Then there's the
they
UK
used
Labour,
to
and
be
then there's this third party.
They used to be they used to be quite to the left of, they used to be closer to Labour in terms of policy. But
Okay.
going into coalition and blah, 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 now they are far more right-wing. Very, very pro-European, very pro-European.
Are there any other parties in the UK Parliament? Maybe some
I think
some
there is
Green
one Green, if I'm not
representatives.
mistaken, from Brighton. And then there may be a few UKIP or Brexit party candidates, if
Hmm.
I'm not mistaken. There is SNP. Oh no, now the largest party after Labour in terms of opposition is SNP. It's not Lib Dem, sorry. SNP is Scottish National. They seek Scotland's nationalisation. There are SNP who controls the Scottish devolved parliament. They are very negative about this deal. Nicola Sturgeon, the Scotland's first minister, criticized the deal treatment of the fishing industry, saying promises made to Scotland's fishing sector had been broken. The Scottish government has said the Brexit deal could cost Scotland $9 billion by 2030. So they're not happy about it. Tories, interestingly though, hardcore Brexiteers are not in revolt because, you know, some of them really wanted a no-deal Brexit. Nigel Farage, who's the man who was the main man behind leaving the British wish to leave the EU, said that I saw an interview with him following the deal, and he said that it's an important day that we should remember and mark. But for many of us, it is a victory, but the victory is not as sweet as it should have been, you know. So the Brexiteers seem a bit more happy with the deal, obviously. By the way, the harder left, not the Labour left, which was Keir Starmer's response, they are very disappointed that the discussion did become no deal or Johnson's deal, because they wanted a more detailed and perhaps more substantive discussion around the deal. But, well, what can you expect from an issue that is this big and garners this much public attention? You know, naturally it becomes far more showy than substantively. So they're somewhat disappointed. I would imagine, I don't know, but I would imagine Germany being very happy. This is, we are finished with the UK responses, but I would imagine Germany being very happy with the deal. French people, I would assume they feel there has been given too much to the UK in this deal. I would think. But in terms of like, I don't know, in terms of affecting other people, in terms of like there are talks of Hungary or Italy may hold referendums regarding leaving the EU. I don't know because the process of leaving the EU for UK was so long and so painstaking, basically, that I don't know what will be in terms of like reaction at the end of the day. That will this deal encourage others to leave, or will it encourage them to stay? I really don't know. We'll see the responses from other like more nationalistic parties in the coming days, because. You know, the deal hasn't been translated to all languages yet, so we'll see.
Yeah, no, that's very true and interesting. There hasn't been much talks about if others would want to perhaps follow suit, countries like Italy or Hungary. But I think, yeah, perhaps in a year or two when we see how it goes, and especially after the COVID period and everything. But yeah, okay, so you kind of hinted at this while you were talking about the UK Labour opposition and not opposition, and that is that both the UK and the EU have to now vote internally to make this deal binding, but that shouldn't really be an issue, right? I mean, you kind of just covered who might have some issues with it internally in the UK, but on the EU side, the parliament also has to vote on it. But yeah, there shouldn't be much problems there, right? And in fact, apparently the UK might want to vote on it this year, right? So very soon.
Yeah, the UK they might vote for it very soon. I believe Michel Barnier said that EU is working overtime and over Christmas to have the deal translated and ratified by each individual nation. So I think, unless there are significant complication or sudden, like somebody, which could suddenly some nation objects to some specific detail, I think it will be ratified within the next week or so. So should not be a problem.
Okay, brilliant. Any final thoughts?
Not really, but I must say, both with Brexit being done and Trump not being president in a few weeks, maybe, hopefully, or maybe not hopefully, but maybe we go back to a more detailed politics, because the last couple of years has been very hysterical politics and very hysterical journalism. So maybe we go into a more substantive era of discussion, because it's been so much hysteria and exaggeration from both sides of either argument. So yeah, that's if any hope I have, maybe. Yeah, who knows?
Yeah, yeah. All right, so let's see what the new year holds for us. And Sam, thank you for that breakdown. That was brilliant. A nice preliminary breakdown. And then, like you said, the full document hasn't even come out yet. So other places where you look around, the breakdowns are quite limited so far.
Yeah, exactly. I think they have it on European Commission website in English, but yeah, it's a massive document, and it's a book.
Okay, all right. Well, if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in our next video.